That should.
Oh, how exciting.
I know. It's actually happening.
I'm glad you exist.
If I can.
So can you. That might be treasure.
This is a podcast.
Yeah. I got the impression when the microphone was near my face, you turned it on. But the wonderful thing that people can't see is that the microphone has different lights.
It does, and it changes.
Yeah, it also, like when the red comes up, I feel naturally more angry. Oh, and now it's gone.
So
I feel calm. So that'll make it interesting. God, editing's
That's one hell of an introduction.
I've got to say, editing's going to be a fucking nightmare for you.
Oh, that's fine.
Is it?
Oh, I
love that.
Why do we need editing? We just put it up.
No, you're right. Raw, rough and ready.
Exactly.
Just like flapjacks that are undercooked. You thought I was going to say sex.
I was going somewhere else with that.
Why would you think that?
I don't know. By the way, also for those on the podcast, because this is a very visual medium, we're literally a feet apart. A foot even.
Indeed. Don't get too cozy.
What of the questions do we pick for today?
We were talking about being yourself and what that can actually do for you in terms of finding the person who's right for you. First off, I want to say a massive disclaimer. We don't partake to the normalization that you'll find the one. Disney has taught you the way. If you stay with the monster or forgive the thief, you'll end up with Mr. Right. Or if the princess treats you like crap or is emotionally abusive, stay with her, she can change. Or they respect you so much as you don't express anything that is emotionally volatile to them, and they will dump you during your trauma. So when we talk about relationships, I think this is wonderful advice. I'm very biased, I'm the person telling you it. But I think that it's incredibly important just to say that this advice is universal in the way that it can be applied to anyone in any circumstance. Because the more time that you put into yourself and the development of yourself, the greater reward, because the biggest relationship in your life that you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And that is an investment that will come back to you again and again and again and again. And if you develop that one tool that you were born with, that one tool that is innately through you, then it can be a treasure trove of wonder. And I'm not saying that to limit the changes that happen with people, because also we find that that which we're born with, we may wish to change. And that's the joy of development. You could develop all sorts of things, your understanding of yourself, your expression. Some things that were innate with you may change. And if you change, or if you don't change, or if you develop, or if you don't develop, then we still love and adore you without condition. It's nice to have that said to people. And I want everyone to know, when we say we adore you, it's not one of those little, I love you too, lovely time. That when we say that, it should pierce the ears of anyone who thinks, well, they can't be talking about trans people, they can't be talking about ethnic diversities, they can't talk about me being disabled, they can't relate it to me, I've just come out of a divorce, they can't. It is meant so that any human who hears it can feel it, is the best way that I can convey that I adore you. Because I don't want somebody to think, okay, I can hear a voice, I can guess lots of different things about that voice, so they can't be talking about me, because I don't relate to that voice. I don't know you, but I can still imagine having love for you, because that's how I exist. I exist within believing that love can transform and that love can do amazing things. And that's what we're going to be exploring in the next minutes. So we'll start off by saying things about finding yourself and also how love transforms. We'd like to explore those things, but did you have a question?
Multiple ones.
Go for it.
Actually.
Go for it.
what you're describing that resonating quite a lot with me is the kind of, when you say you need to be your true self and you find somebody that resonates with that. When I know for myself, I'm to some extent still on that journey, right?
Yeah.
And I do want a relationship. I do want to find someone. But at the same time, there's a part of me that feels I might not be ready for that.
I hear that. And I have to say, as much as I'm in the place now, for 27 years, I wasn't in that place at all. I was just going around trying to think of it as a lock, and you're trying to stuff every key you can in it, just to try and open it, just trying to open your heart. But it's also that massive thing that inside of you that you know that you could love somebody and you want to express that with somebody.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the driving forces that makes people confused, where they're looking for B before they've even had A. There's so many different metaphors I could use, so many different building blocks that I could talk about. But what you're saying is, you have all that potential energy to give to somebody.
Yes, exactly.
And you're at an age where you can appreciate it because you have job, you have lovely place, you have a wonderful personality.
Oh, thank you.
Let's be very honest. I think that can be heard over the microphone. You have to send out the right messages. You send out the messages and they resonate. And when somebody picks up on the resonation of yourself and they respond in a way that is pleasing to you, is that you appreciate, then you can find on the base level that you two understand each other. And you understand each other more than just, hi, how are you? You start to click. But if you feel that you would like one, then that is something that can be addressed. And I would say to you is, the more you need something, the more that you say you want, that becomes desire, and desire can also turn into desperation. I speak from my journey now, because I haven't always been as zen, I haven't always been as calm, collected, and speaking from a point of that thing I've been teaching people for years, it finally happened. Because I had to teach, I was very much advocating this way of being since I was 20, and it took until 27 to find somebody who wasn't going to take advantage of my good nature, or that I wasn't projecting my own desperation on. I wanted it so badly that desperation puts us into vulnerable places, or places that, had we not had desperation, might not lead us there. And what I want from you, or for you to reflect on, is this. And you can if you want, because if I told you that I needed you to do a thing, I'd be very hypocritical, wouldn't I? Take it as it comes. Enjoy what you have now, because I can tell you, one of the things that I love to remind people who are single or who don't want relationships are, at least you're not in an abusive relationship. At least you're not financially entwined with somebody that you don't like. At least you aren't in a relationship that you don't really want, or that you're going through a change which your partner cannot accept. As much as the grass could always be greener, your yard could also be on fire, or it could smell like piss. So I think that to try and help, and what I say isn't definitive, and you might find different things. I mean, tomorrow you could go out, you could go to a pub, you could dance with somebody in a pub or a bar, which would make more sense. Dance in a pub. You'll try. Go and dance in a pub. I demand it. I mean, yeah, it's a way. I'm not sure if it's the crowd that you'd want to roll with, but yeah, I've been to some funky pubs. I like a dance. And you could find destiny awaits, and it could happen tomorrow, and it could happen blindly some random Tuesday in the future. You just don't know. But one of the things you can control is yourself. So I want to take this opportunity to go back to what I was saying, which is the loving of yourself. Because the thing that you can do, Alex, the thing that you can do is to show love to yourself. Is to also double down on not worrying whether or not it will or will not happen, because the fastest way of unpicking happiness is to analyze it. Don't pull the thread from the tapestry of happiness, for it will come unravelled in front of your eyes. What you can do is get to know yourself. By getting to know yourself about what you like and what you don't like, when you are out there and you get to make the choice, or you're getting to know somebody new, you can then identify what you like in that person and then make an informed choice. And I tell you what, in 2023, an informed choice is a sexy choice. You know? Not going in blind, not having to experience somebody's negativity as part of a relationship. There are some things that some people won't reveal about themselves to you, but that's learning, and maybe you'll build up a sense for that. I got pretty good at spotting bastards on my route, and I started getting with less people that I broke up with horrifically, and started breaking up with people amicably. Because it's just unfortunate. If you're not made for each other, it's unfortunate. If you can't get along, it's unfortunate. You shouldn't be in a toxic relationship, because that's the worst thing that can happen off of a relationship that had love in it, for you to exchange it for one that's toxic and filled with hate, because there's enough of that in the world. Forget that. Draw a line in the sand, sever ties, be free. Freedom is worth its weight in gold, and you will never appreciate it until you need it. So what you can do is double down on you. Be you. Be you unashamedly. Enjoy the things you like. Go and do things with places with friends or on your own. Enjoy your company, because it's the company you're going to keep for a long, long time. And then when you are finding your true self, wherever that is, however that manifests, you might go to different countries to do that. You might go to your own country. You might go back to where you were born. You might go back to a spiritual home, or a place that you feel is, this is a place where I can grow. Identifying where a place you can grow is a really big part of that journey. Acknowledging where you're happy and where you can see yourself expanding, developing, is also a really good thing to be aware of. And when you do that for a time, you will find that how you express yourself in the world changes. Might be the things you wear, might be the way you dress, the way your hair is. Your mannerisms, your mood, might be a million different things. You might find that you suddenly take up bowling or knife throwing or something else. And so your expression changes, because your expression changes depending on how you feel. But what that does is it sends out waves. It sends out signals to other people. So you're doing Alex the way that you want to do Alex. And you start to be proud of who you are and what you do, and it resonates. And then everybody around you starts to pick up on that. And the ones that can play with that energy will come forward naturally. Rather than being the person in the bar, and I know because I've been this person, which is why I give no guilt or shame for doing so, rather than going, I have to get with somebody at the end of the night. I will not feel pretty unless I get with somebody at the end of the night. And getting with somebody who is not your first choice, but unfortunately your last choice, you'll actually attract somebody towards maybe the beginning of the night or the middle of the night. It might be the end of the night, and there's no shame in that. But you'll actually draw somebody who is attracted to you, rather than the layers of makeup, the layers of hair, the layers of no hair at all. Woo, bold community. Rather than all these other things that we fancy ourselves up with, maybe by being ourselves and letting a person see that, maybe they'll be attracted to that, and maybe that's the person that I want to be, and maybe I'll find somebody who will like me for me. When I'm in a bar now, it's completely different. I used to just always be eyes looking around, seeing if there was something that looked nice. And now I just feel calm in them, because that part of me, I don't need to look. And for me, that was a really massive relief. But that's because of all the traps and things that were given to me in my youth, with all the drives that my parents imprinted on me, and all the pressures of social groups being, who did you get with? What did you do? Rather than saying, shit, I'm really sorry that you haven't, seen anyone in a while. Do you want to hang out sometime? Do you want to go to the club with me? Because what we could do is support each other more. And that would help. And that's the kind of love that comes from those around us. And it helps us also figure out what we're looking for by seeing how the love of friendship affects us. And what do we like about our friends? We could even learn from the friendships that we have what we like in folk and use that as a blueprint to go out and hunt down folk. But also, there is the tranquility of loving yourself, which allows you to be on your own, and it will keep sanity longer. It was a difficult lesson for me to learn. There was so much that others had taught me not to love about myself. There was a lot that society taught me not to love about myself. There was messages from my own community. There were dating sites where people told me that the way I looked wasn't the ideal, or why was I even on this app? But then I started listening to the one voice that I should actually listen to, which is my own. And if I am a kind of person who goes around saying, you deserve to be loved, you deserve somebody who respects you and cares for you, why can I not listen to that voice? If I'm the friend saying to other friends, you would make anyone happy, why can I not take a cup of that for me? It'd be quite hypocritical if I'm telling other people to love themselves and I don't do the same for me. That's something that we have to live for. That's something that we have to tell ourselves. And when people say I love you or you're brilliant, open your ears and feel it. Bathe in it. Imagine it's a shower. Wash yourself in the compliments of others, the genuine love that you get from friends, the agape of it all. And that goes for those who are alone, those who are looking for others, those who have found others, those who are in relationships, those who are in casual things, those who don't even want to call it a ship. All of it is valid, all of it is pretty, and all of it is nice. But a word to the wise, don't be reckless with other people's hearts, and don't go for people who are reckless with yours. So utilising all of the things that make you you, by experiencing the things you've experienced, by going through your journey, by acknowledging your truth, by being in tune with your culture, by exploring everything around you, by being part of the earth and letting the earth be part of you, which sounds like such, I'm not selling you anything. Buy our Rainforest CD in the gift shop. But no, being truthful to yourself, because you'll find, having gone through so many, if you do, so many relationships that aren't good fits, and it's a painful way. I've done it myself. Gone through so many relationships that didn't fit, that I didn't gel with the person, or they didn't gel with me, or didn't treat me the way that I wanted, or treated me abhorrently, or things that I could have done so much better in that relationship to that person. And it's unfortunate that we actually have to find these things out when we are in that situation. But the one thing that I learned through all of it, before I could settle down, as it were, or have just one partner, is that when I started being myself and accepting the truth of who I was, of what I will do, and what I want to become as a person, it started to give off this resonance, which the person I'm with currently picked up on. And we came together and we had a wonderful conversation which established what we wanted in a relationship and what we didn't. Because by the time I got to that point, I had already been very tired of several recurring nonsenses that were happening in relationships that I was very upfront about. I don't want an abusive relationship. I want us to talk through our problems. I want us to be there for each other in times of need. I want us to have space, but also have the ability to ask for each other in times of need. And on simple communication and continual conversation, we built something, and it's going pretty well. Not that I want to jinx it on a podcast, but oh my God. It's going well. And that's what I wish for anyone. Because I think when you are creating your own sounds, making your own type of music, that will attract a certain kind of person. People are attracted to people for certain reasons. It might be the look, it might be the personality, it might be the words, it might be the things you do. When you give out those signals and when you are happy with yourself, and you accept that validation cannot come from other people, which is a very hard thing to do, which is why I said at the beginning that this is information for everyone, because validation, as much as it can be confirmed by other people who are not part of your journey or just observing your journey, they will never know the full struggle that you have being you. They will never know all your trials, all your difficulties. They will also never know all of your triumphs and successes, which is the thing that I wish you. And I hope that I meet people who have heard the words I say, because I have done so before in other things that I've put out into the world, and I have seen the transformation. I have seen people who have heard my words, taken those words, ran with them, and put their own truth into them, and to see how they flourish and bloom. And it's not, I take no glory, I take no part of it whatsoever, that it's my instruction that led them to that place. It was their fire. You can suggest many different things to different people. You should never tell a person to do something, but you should encourage them to do the right thing for them, because that's a very different thing to do than, say, telling a person, you should do that. I really think you should do that. Do what's right for you. And if you understand yourself, you will know what the right thing to do for you is. It might not be having a partner right now. It might not be going out into the night and getting with the first person you see. Hey, on the other hand, though, it might be. It might be going to a random party and getting with as many people as you can. Be safe. Because remember, you are worth more than the last person in the club. You are worth more than going off on an adventure and having to walk 3 miles home in the rain after taking off your high heel shoes. I know, because I've made that walk. And when you get to the pretty place where life starts to make sense, or at least is some version of calm or better than what you're in now, you'll look back, and I hope that you're kinder to yourself and go, okay, everything that has gone from that point leading to this point is okay, because I'm at this point and I feel blessed for being at this point because I've survived so much drama. And that's what I hope for you. I hope that you are you in the truest sense of what that looks like. And I hope that it opens up doors for you. I hope that it opens up ways of life and being that you'd never considered before. And ultimately, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And I just hope if you remember anything from this podcast, is that you are loved. And I'm glad you exist. And if I can, so can you.
It's an interesting one, because I'm still on that journey, if I'm honest with you. I'm not quite there yet with what you're describing. Mm-hmm. When you said you are adored, mm-hmm. you are loved, like you genuinely made me feel like you do actually not just say those words, like you mean them. That was very much a case of like, oh wow, that mm-hmm. feels very different to things I've had in the past, put it that way. And when you say, you need to find your own truth, you need to explore yourself, do what is right for you. The truth is, for me personally, I don't know that yet.
And that's okay.
You've been listening to the I'm Glad You Exist. If I can, so can you podcast. If you want more from us, you can find us on all the usual social medias. Like, subscribe, follow us, which is the best thing you can do to help us continue making this podcast. And please, never ever forget, you are loved.